Hi Flosstube! Thanks for stopping by my channel. My name is Shiloh. You can find me on Instagram as @Xstitchmd. I am a cross stitcher and my Flosstube channel is about cross stitch, obviously. I live in Nova Scotia, Canada, and I've been stitching for most of my life and pretty much consumes most of my time. So thanks so much to everyone that's been watching my videos and commenting. It's so much fun to read your comments and it really encourages me to keep up with my progress so I have stuff to show you for my next video. So hopefully this video will provide everyone with a bit of a respite from all of the stressful news that's going on in the world right now. I think as cross stitchers we are very privileged in that we are used to spending lots of time indoors away from other people. So hopefully we can continue doing that to kind of get this virus thing under control. So yeah, enough about that. Let's talk about cross stitch. So this past 2 weeks since I've last come on, I've had one finish and 4 new starts, and I've been tracking them in my planner thingy. So I've just been writing, and you can see I've stitched every day in March so far except for this one day here, which is when I was working a night shift in the Emerge and it was very busy and I was just too tired to stitch. So anyway, let's start off with my finish because I'm very excited about this. I stayed up until like 1 a.m. last night finishing it because I was like, I have to get done for my video. Self-imposed deadlines. But here it is. So I don't know if I can fit it all. Okay, yeah, I can fit it all. So this is the Orphanage Sampler, and it was in the spring 1992 issue of Sampler and Antique Needlework Quarterly, which is 28 years ago, gosh. It was called for to be stitched in, I believe, DMC 823 and 919, which is like a navy blue and an orange, but I was not really feeling that color, and I had a lot of DMC 3031 left over from my Schoolhouse Quaker that I showed last time. So I decided to use that instead, and I thought DMC 902 went really well with it. There's a lot of really fun specialty stitches, so there's a row of Algerian eyelets here. This is back stitch, and then this section was fun. So there's satin stitch, more eyelets, herringbone stitch, a bunch of other back stitch things. I think this is called the ray stitch. I love stitching alphabet, so this was super fun. It was really fun too to stitch the year, because from 1992 to 2020, that's kind of cool. Yeah, I'm very happy with how this turned out. It's pretty big. I stitched this on 28 count linen that was tea dyed, but I bought it that way. I didn't do that myself because like that's work. I really like how it turned out, and I'm gonna get it framed. I'm waiting until I have like a pile of things to get framed, probably like 5 things to just, you know, go all at once. That way it's less stressful because I just pay one big amount all at once instead of a bunch of whatever. Anyway, I'm going to be getting this framed eventually. So that's my finish. Very excited about that. And like I said, I had 4 new starts, but going by my planner here, let's go by what I worked on first this month, and that was the Token by Long Dog Samplers. And I think I mentioned before that I'm stitching this as a wedding sampler for my fiance and I. So that is our wedding date, September 5th, 2020. And I'm using DMC 814, which is probably the most perfect red ever, at least of the DMC reds. And I got quite a chunk done on this. I really like it. It's fun to stitch. It's pretty. Again, I'm just always like all about these little elephants here because I think they're so cute. Yeah. Super fun. Oh, this is on 35 count linen. Okay, so on to my new starts. So I was originally thinking like, oh, I want to participate in March Madness and start something new every day. And so I started something new every day for like 4 days in a row, and I was like, this is too much. I just want to work on stuff. So I stopped, but I did start 4 new things. So first up, this is called Atude. Sorry, things were rolling off there. And I got this pattern from Etsy. It's from Lena Cross Stitch, who has some really gorgeous like geometrical designs, and I kind of want all of them. But it's super pretty. It's 8 blocks across, 10 blocks down, so you can see I just have a little chunk so far. every block pretty much, I think there's 37 different colors. There's 80 blocks, so obviously like some of the colors, most of the colors are used more than once, but I just really like how the colors are all laid out. I think it's very pretty. Each block is so different. It's really fun to stitch. I'm using, so this is a new fabric for me. I'm using a 36 count Little Bunny from Xstitchmd Designs. It's very nice. It's kind of like, it's pretty, how do you want to say it? It's just like a standard color, like it's not marbled or anything. And so I was kind of expecting it to be a bit more mottled, but it's still pretty. So this is really fun, and I think I'm gonna pick this back up now that I finished my Orphanage Sampler, because it's really fun to just stitch like a couple blocks and such. The next thing I started, so I discovered that, I'm gonna say this wrong, but Jardin Privé, we'll say it that way. They're a French designer, and I found out that they have their patterns available as PDFs online, which is my preferred way of stitching. And so I kind of went wild and bought a lot of their PDFs. So I had to start a bunch of them, obviously. I think I bought 3 and I started 2 of them. This one is called, I don't know how to pronounce it in French, but it's like, what it means is back to basics. So here's what I have so far. This is about 1/3 of the design. And this beautiful fabric is also from Xstitchmd Design, and this is Marbled Little Bunny, which to me is like beautiful and perfect, and I love it. And that's kind of, so when I purchase more from her, I'm gonna go for the marbled ones just because that's kind of the look I was going for. I'm using DMC 156, which is this really pretty blue, and it's turning out really nice. I like it. I'm using 2 strands of DMC on 36 count Marbled Little Bunny from Xstitchmd Designs. And I really like the coverage I get on 36 count with 2 strands. I find that just 1 strand is not quite enough for me. I also don't like stitching with 1 strand because maybe I just pull too hard, but I find my floss breaks a lot. So this is cute. Like, look at that little curly W and the key and the little cat / squirrel or whatever it is. This is very pretty, and this was quick. I think this was like 2 days of stitching. So 1/3 of it done. I need to get more DMC 156. Yesterday I went out to get groceries as my like only social contact of the day, and then I had to stop at Michael's to get more floss, and they were out of all 3 floss colors I needed. So like, I don't know if people are stocking up on DMC or what, but I'll just buy it online. So that's that one. My other Jardin Privé that I started, this is called it's called something else in French. I'll put it on the screen, but in English it means Flower Sampler. And I'm also doing this on 36 count Xstitchmd Designs Marbled Little Bunny. This one is quite a bit bigger, so I cut like a fat quarter basically in 2/3, 1/3, which worked out perfectly. I always love when I can get 2 projects out of a fat quarter. So this is it so far. I am using DMC 632, which is like a brownish color. It kind of looks like it matches my nails, but it's much browner than that. It's super pretty. I'm really liking it. This is like 2 keys crossed with a cute little bird on it. It's really fun to stitch. I like it a lot. Also ran out of 632, and they didn't have it at Michael's, so I gotta order more of that. But this is like pretty quick stitch as well. It's definitely bigger than the Back to Basics sampler, but it shouldn't take too long once I just like sit down, because I think this is, this is just one day of stitching on it. So, and to clarify, when I mean 1 day of stitching, I mean like a weekend day where I'm sitting on my butt like all day. My 4th start this month was this. Oh, this is the one that I don't have a PDF for, so I can actually show you the chart. So this is the English Garden Sampler by Samplers Not Forgotten. Isn't it just absolutely stunning? The designer just released the French Garden Sampler at Market this year, and it's so pretty, and I need it. But I've bought a lot of charts, so I gotta wait a little bit for that. I'm using mostly the recommended Weeks dye works for this. However, there were several Weeks dye works that I thought weren't super variegated, and I didn't want to spend the money on them, so for those I used DMC. Like, this is DMC 739, and it almost kind of looks variegated, which is weird. And this is like DMC 3051, but all of these are the, pretty much all of these are the called for weeks dye works. So I got a pretty good start. This border was actually super fun to stitch. So I was kind of stitching it in rows, as you can see here, which was fun, and it went really quick. The flowers are easy because they're just giant chunks. I think this is super, super pretty. I really like it. I'm using 32 count stone gray Zweigart Belfast linen that I got in my Fabric of the Month club from Traditional Stitches in Calgary. I was getting the 32 count Fabric of the Month club, and then I switched over to getting 36 count because I think I prefer 36 count, but this is nice stuff too. And like that band, isn't it nice? I gotta fill in, there's blue that goes in each of those, but I'm gonna use pin stitch for each of those, and it just takes a bit of time, so I haven't done it yet. Yeah, so let's see here. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 flowers down. So I got 2 so far, and there's one band and then there's another band here. So it's pretty big. Like, this is a fat quarter and it's gonna take up most of it. But this was fun. I'm really liking it. And I think, who else was starting this? Oh no, Jan Hicks from Jan Hicks Creates was starting, I think it's BG 1864 or 18 something, also by Samplers Not Forgotten, and I need it. Oh my goodness, it's so pretty. The one thing is, like, her charts are huge and they're also pretty expensive when you convert them to like Canadian dollars. They're like 30 something dollars, which, I mean, for the size is worth it, but it's just like, it's been spending too much money lately. So that's all the cross stitch I've worked on the past 2 weeks. I wanted to show some of my knitting because I haven't done any of that yet. I actually haven't knit since, let's check my planner, since like the middle of February, so pretty much like a month. I got on a stitching kick, especially after I started my Flosstube channel. But I want to show you some of my previous projects that I finished. So I have them back here. So this is the most recent thing I finished. It's this cute little top. When I've been wearing this, I've been wearing this as like a vest thing with like a shirt underneath it. It's super cute. The pattern is called Admit, and it's by Nora Gahn for Barocco. And the yarn is Knit Picks Color Mist, which is a worsted weight, and the color is called Tidewater. And this is a 75% cotton, 25% acrylic blend. And this was pretty fun to stitch because it was, or knit. This was kind of interesting to do. This was all just like stockinette in the round. And the nice thing about a vest is you don't have to knit sleeves, so it's very quick to finish. So that was super fun to do. Whoops. And then I have a couple of shawls that I've knit. Shawls are probably my favorite thing to knit because they're like pretty quick and easy. I also get the Knit Crate subscription box every month, and I find that oftentimes the yarn that they provide, the quantities there are like pretty good for finishing a shawl, and they usually have a nice pattern. So this shawl is from the April 2019 Knit Crate box. Let me fold it so you can see it better. So this is called, it's called the Canopy Shawl, and the designer is Destiny Meyer. And this yarn is beautiful. So that's the nice thing about like the Knit Crate thing is like I never would have picked this color, but I love it. I love it. So this is Audine Wools, and it's the Psy DK base, and the color is called Ladybug. And like, it's so nice. So I usually wear my shawls like this. This does not match at all, but isn't it nice? I love it. I love it, I love it, love it. So yeah, it's like, it's beautiful. I love it. This was a really fun stitch pattern to do too. Yeah, a little bit of variegation. It's nice. This other shawl I've made was also from Knit Crate, find the right way, and this was from the August 2019 crate. And this, I'm gonna butcher the name, it's the Ecletna Lakeside Shawl, and the designer is Mary Dickerson. And this yarn is Knitology Worsted, the Kestrel base, and the color, oh sorry, it's the Knitology Worsted, oh my gosh. The colorway is called Kestrel, and it's 100% superwash merino, as the last one was too, I did mention that. So this is a worsted weight, and look at those colors. This was super fun because you have like the little bobble things, some ribbing, stockinette, and then the ending was some rib. But again, this was super fun and quick and easy, and this actually doesn't horribly clash with my with my sweater. So yeah, very soft too. It's like very soft yarn. So yeah, and this blocked out so beautifully. All right, so currently I'm not really working on a lot of knitting projects, like I said, but the one I was most recently working on, which I will get back to sometime, is this shawl, which is all bunched up on my needle, so it's gonna not be a little bit hard to see. So this is the Kith Shawl by Justina Lorkowska, and I really like it because it's like white and gray. So this is Knit Picks Stroll Fingering yarn, and the colorways are white, very basic, ash is the gray, and the gold is called Treasure. I love this combination. I've realized that I don't particularly care for knitting fingering weight yarn just because it takes so much longer. I'm really more of like a DK worsted person. But this is really fun to knit because the gold inserts are short rows. So basically you don't knit all the way across the row, you only knit part way across the row. So it kind of looks like it's a little wedge, which is really cool. Yeah, this is really fun, but just like already, I mean, I'm only like a quarter of the way done. The rows are already super long, so it's gonna be a commitment to get this one done. I don't think I've ever made a fingering weight shawl just because it takes so long, but it's pretty. Okay, so moving on to acquisitions, and I'll start off with my knitting acquisition because I was just talking about the knit crate. Yay. So this is the February 2020. I haven't gotten my March one yet because I'm in Canada. I usually don't get it till like more near the end of the month. And I try to avoid social media, so I don't know what I'm getting, but I usually end up seeing. So this was this month, and this is Atude wool, which is the same as the red shawl I showed you, but this is the sport weight. It is 80% superwash merino, 20% tencel, which I believe is supposed to be sparkly. I don't really see a sparkle in this per se, but it's nice. The colorway is called Sky, and I got 2 skeins of this. I already balled up one of them. It's very, very soft and squishy and lovely, and I'm planning on knitting a shawl with it, of course, because that's what I do. The knit crate thing always comes with a booklet of what you can make with it. This scarf this time is a crochet one, and I don't know how to crochet, so I can't do that. And the other patterns, it comes with like a hat and mitts and socks, but I probably will, I'm gonna make a shawl. I think I had picked out a pattern I wanted to do on Ravelry, which is probably why I wound this up, but clearly I didn't do that, so who knows what I was thinking. But yes, that's that. In terms of other acquisitions I got, so I already showed you my English Garden Sampler, but these are the Weeks Dye Works flosses I got from 123 Stitch, and I have them on my little ring. I apologize, Brenda and Laura from Brenda and the Serial Starter. I don't have jewelry on my ring here. I'm sorry, I know it's breaking law. But yeah, look at how pretty these colors are. I really like them. Also, like, you can see the ones I'm using, so they're all ratty. Yeah, but these are really pretty. I like them a lot. Also, I had mentioned that I got some XG fabric, so I got the Little Bunny, Marbled Little Bunny, and then I got this, which is light hazelnut. This is more what the color is like. So I'm planning to use this for Teresa Kogut's pattern Faith, Hope, Love, something else. I can't remember what it all is. Faith, Hope, Love, whatever. I ordered that pattern from Cindy at Stitchery Express. She has a Facebook group, and that should be coming in the mail hopefully next week, and this should be perfect for it. And Jukas from Xstitchmd Design was so sweet, and she also sent a skein of her silk along with the fabric, and this is so soft. Like, I've just been like playing with it because it's so soft. It's so pretty. And now I want to order like 10 more skeins of it, and like this looks so pretty together. I was like, oh, like a Quaker sampler on this. So yeah, that may have to happen in the future. But lovely. She had such wonderful customer service too, because like I wanted specific colors I had seen on someone's floss tubes, so I just asked her if she could dye those for me, and she did, and they came from Hungary in like 2 weeks, so that's pretty good. See, I'm still so soft. Other acquisitions, so I had gotten the Weeks Dye Works floss from 123 Stitch, and also from 123 Stitch I got some 36 count vintage country mocha Edinburgh linen fat quarter. I really like this linen because it looks like hand dyed. It's printed because the back is like not like that, but it's quite inexpensive, and this is really nice. And I haven't decided what I'm gonna do on this yet, but I couldn't just buy floss by itself, so I got this as well. My original thought is I was gonna use this for this pattern I got from 123 Stitch. Blackbird Designs, Merrily, Merrily We Welcome Spring. Isn't that beautiful? But the only issue is that I think on 36 count it's gonna be too tight with the borders because it's, yeah, 15 and an 1/8. So I think that's gonna be pretty tight on an 18-inch piece. So I might get a fat half instead. But this is very pretty, and I think it would look gorgeous on this fabric. So that is my plan, but I just need to get a bigger piece now. So I'm excited to start this. I actually have never, I don't think I've ever stitched a Blackbird Designs project, which is weird because like I love them. I just haven't, probably because they don't come as PDFs, and so I have to buy the charts, which I just tend not to do. But I loved this one, so I bought it. The only other acquisition I got was my monthly Fabric of the Month Club from Traditional Stitches, and this one, it's not much to look at, but it's like a nice basic. So this is 36 count antique white linen, a fat quarter. And haven't decided yet what I'm gonna put on this. I'm thinking of the Tsunami Sampler, which was in one of the issues of Sampler and Antique Needlework Quarterly. I saw someone on Instagram start it recently, and it reminded me that I have all those back issues and I love that sampler. So I might start that on this maybe today. No, I need to work on some of my whips and then I can have a new start. So those are all my acquisitions. I have a bunch of market haul coming in the mail. And maybe this like transitions nicely into my shout outs. So I bought several patterns as pre-orders from Cindy Sorley of Cross Stitch Express, or I don't even know what it is. You can just look up Cindy Sorley on Facebook. She has a really large Facebook group when she buys stuff. But the other thing, so there's a couple of new Flosstubers I've been watching. So one is Shelly from Diary of a Stitcher, and she lives in BC, and she was going to Nashville for the first time because she's just opened up a shop. And so that got me super excited. Her Flosstube, I think she just has one video up so far, and it was great. She did a really great job. And she mentioned that she was going to Nashville and she had free shipping on her charts, which is amazing. So I bought a bunch of charts from her too. So yeah, check out her channel because it was great. The other Flosstuber I was watching was Always Amy, and she just recently finished Autumn Quaker by Rosewood Manor, and it is so pretty, and I need it. And she was very sweet, and her videos were fantastic, so I recommend you go give her a watch and a subscribe. Those are kind of two of the newer Flosstubers that, well, new to me, that I found that I've been watching. I've also been watching, oh gosh, what is her name? I can't remember, and that's terrible, but she is, I think, Stitching in the Bluegrass, and I really enjoyed her videos. She has a lot of really beautiful projects, so I'd recommend checking her out as well. So hopefully next week I'm gonna get a bunch of stash in the mail because I really want to start all the things, which I always want to, but I also want to work on my whips. So today is going to be working on whips while staying inside, maintaining appropriate social distance and all of that, which is very important. I'm not trying to make light of it. So yeah, so hopefully I can get some good progress on other things today, and I'll be watching all the Flosstubes. So if you have a Flosstube channel, leave me a comment and tell me about it, because if I'm not watching you, I would love to watch you because I need all the things to keep me occupied. So that's all I have for now. I'll be back in 2 weeks with hopefully maybe a finish. That'd be cool. We'll see. Probably a million more new starts and hopefully some new stash. Take care.